Alright, welcome to this very special edition of Stitch Method. For some of you who possibly don't know, which I don't think there's a lot of you, I have a very good friend and fellow YouTuber and co-worker by the name of Sean Daniel, and his channel will be linked below, but I'm sure many of you have found me through him. So, in case you haven't seen it, Sean does some Q&A, and in his Q&A sessions he does his Salty Blues comment of the week, and some of them get really funny, and he has such a tremendous sense of humor and ability to appreciate these salty blues comments. So I was over his house, and we were talking, and he said, well, why don't you do your own salty comment review? And I was like, you think so? And he's like, yeah, of course. And he's like, and he embraced them so much. So he convinced me to do it. So we went through some of the salty comments that that I have received over the months, and we picked the finest one. And the reason that I'm bringing this to your attention is because I don't mind when people either ask questions or they hey, you could be wrong, Ian, and I could be wrong. And a lot of people will ask a good question and say, could it be this, could it be that? And I've been wrong. And when somebody has so much fire in their soul that you can hear them, they can't even control themselves when they're typing. I tend to really get impressed with those types of comments because it's as if they couldn't shut themselves off. So we picked this very special one. This one pertains to my number 4 blues trick video, which hopefully I link below if I remember, which is called The Myth of the Mixolydian. And this guy, I think he didn't watch the whole thing, or maybe he just read the title. I don't know. But I was at Sean's house and we filmed a salty comment review. Hope you enjoy it. And thanks for tuning in. And yeah, stick around. Bye-bye.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Ian.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Good. You probably know I'm putting in a pool, right?
I heard.
Yeah. Do you know what kind of pool I'm putting in?
What kind of pool is it?
Saltwater pool.
Ooh, very good for your skin.
Very good for your skin.
Excellent.
I think. I mean, I have 80 pounds to put in, but here's the deal. I'm looking at these salt bags sitting in my backyard.
Bags of salt. What does that remind you of?
Reminds me of you and your salty comments.
Salty comments, the king of them.
Right there. So I figured, let's go over a salty comment from my channel.
I can't wait to hear this.
But we have to discuss some things first.
Really? Need some pretext.
Some pretext. Because I do understand the salty comment. But you ever you get some information and it clashes with what you know?
Every day of my life, my friend.
But you and I have the wisdom to try and get all the information before we make our comment.
Of course.
And I find that when you challenge someone's knowledge, the second it gets challenged, they can kind of disregard whatever comes next and they just fire. Does that make sense?
The modern age.
All right, so this comment that I got.
Read it.
I'm going to read it. Here we go.
Lengthy.
Yeah, lengthy.
You're going to do it in a salty blues voice.
Oh, do I have to do it? Do you want to read it in the salty blues voice?
No, I think you make up your own. Make your own.
I don't have a salty blues voice.
No, you did. I heard you do it. Yours is more of a pompous blues voice when you read it.
Okay. This is in regards to my number 4 blues trick, The Myth of the Mixolydian. Okay. You are incredibly misguided and teaching misinformation to make matters worse. Anybody with an even tenuous understanding of basic harmony and music theory knows that the 5th mode of the major scale is the Mixolydian. That's correct.
All right.
Okay. So far, so good. Yeah. And that the 5th chord, and the 5th chord of the major scale is the dominant 7th chord. True. Also true. I mean,
this guy knows what he's talking about.
So far, we're on the same page, right? Therefore, the scale that most clearly characterizes the sound of a dominant 7th chord is the Mixolydian scale. True.
Also true.
Which I just did a video on about Dark Star from the Grateful Dead, or even a Mixolydian jam on my channel.
Lots of them.
Let's keep going. In a typical simple blues progression, the 1, the 4, and 5 chord are all dominant 7th chords. True.
Right again.
Right again. This guy's right on money. Therefore, the most appropriate way to outline that progression is with a Mixolydian scale built off the root of each chord. Not so true. We'll talk about that in a second. Of course, the minor third sounds nice and bluesy, but it is seen as an approach or passing note on the major pentatonic scale.
Shots fired.
No. Okay, listen up, bro. This is where you're going off the rails here. If you truly love Trey's playing, referring to Trey Anastasio, I think you should do a more in-depth study of what he's actually doing, because he is using the Mixolydian out the Yang Sun.
Oh, man.
So to make a long story short, too late, you are completely wrong. And the Mixolydian scale is as important as the pentatonic scales, major and minor, when playing the blues. So this guy's got some strong, like, good knowledge.
Yep.
But, did I ever tell you my story about what blue means in music?
No, I don't think so.
It means wrong.
Really?
Well, yeah, think about it.
Okay, sure.
Like, not means wrong, but like if you're playing the blues, like for instance, a blues doesn't have a key. There's a website called What Key Am I In? And if you type in A7, D7, and E7, hit it, boom, it's going to say can't find a key. Right. That's why we say it's a blues in A. Because we don't have, it's not blues in the key of A, it's a blues in A. So now, let's talk about, do you know what the intervals are, Sean, of a blues scale?
That would be 1, flat 3.
Yep. Oh, yeah, right.
4. 5.
Yep.
Flat 7.
Yeah, and a flat 5.
Flat 5?
Yeah, one.
Oh, the passing. Okay.
There you go.
All
Yes,
right, gotcha.
but the key note being the flat 3.
The flat 3.
So what we know is a blues scale has a flat 3. And when you play a blues scale over a dominant chord, you get the blues sound. Let's just play an A7, right? Here we go.
Sure.
Here's my blues scale. A. 1, 2, ready, and. Good. We're done. No,
sounds like the blues to me,
great.
my friend.
So this guy's saying, oh, the Mixolydian is the right scale. It's not. The sound of the blues is the minor third rubbing against the major third. It's something that we've talked about many times on both of our channels, right?
Sure.
Now, but what he's referring to, and this is where I see where it just like made him drop everything, like his Mountain Dew and his Doritos. He's like, that's it, I gotta do it. Which is, we both love Trey Anastasio from Fish, right? And he's saying, well,
when he says we both, he means that they both.
Oh, me, yeah.
They both.
Okay, fine. That's what he does. It's okay. It's okay. So there are bluesy types of songs.
Sure.
Which, again, we can't confuse the blues with bluesy. Anything that uses a 1, 4, and 5 with a happy sound in major scales, we can say it's bluesy because it's following the blues path.
Sure.
But it's not the blues. For instance, so now what we're going to do is we're going to play a bluesy 12-bar blues where I'm only going to play the Mixolydian. And you're going to hear, it sounds happy. And the blues is not happy stuff.
And I'm going to play the 7 chords, A7, D7, and E7.
E7. I'm going to play A Mixolydian, D Mixolydian, and E Mixolydian. No.
Get ready for some blues, everybody.
No minor thirds in sight. Now, keep in mind, this is going to sound like the Fish song Undermined, and it's going to sound okay, but it's not the blues. It's just bluesy. 1, 2, ready, and. Oh. Okay, so I messed up actually a little, but that was good. But you could hear, actually, one quick second, it sounded like blues, but you could hear that it's missing an element of that grit. Sure. And so when you're playing just the Mixolydian to the blues, again, this is about my blues number 4, Myth of the Mixolydian, it's not going to have the power of the blues, the minor third. So let's do it one more time, and I'm going to put that minor third in, and then we're going to hear the blues.
I'll play it just like I did before.
2, ready, and. Extended ending.
Yeah, feeling it.
But you can hear all of a sudden with the minor third.
That minor third right off the bat.
Boom. Bluesy. So I do understand the salty comment.
Sure, I get it. Because, Mixolydian is the 5 chord, which is a dominant 7 chord.
Which, by the way, I don't know if you've seen Modes with Friends. It's a great. Have you heard that series
Solid,
before?
Solid.
2 awesome teachers teaching about Mixolydian.
Maybe you should link them to Modes with Friends.
Oh, that's a good idea. Modes with Friends. We understand how Mixolydians work. We understand how 7th chords work. But
I could even understand. You see 3 7th chords. You think of using 3 Mixolydian shapes, scales.
Why not?
Go for it.
But it ain't the blues.
It's not the blues.
It's bluesy.
No.
So there's a difference between blues and bluesy. This guy, I can feel your passion.
You're misguided.
You're misguided.
Misdirected.
Passion.
Infantile passion. We're trying to use this tenuous at best.
Come on. Well, that's your salty saltwater stitch method.
Saltwater stitch method blues of the week.
And let this be a lesson to you. You can use Mixolydian. It's going to sound happy. Or you can use your blues scale with the major third. It's going to sound right.
Let this be another lesson to you. You mess with the bull, you get the horns. Standalone response video with the best. Yeah. Come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro. I'm not
at me,
afraid
bro.
to dish it. No, I just wanted to set the record straight. Like, he's half right, but I'm right.
But we live in a world of black and white.
I'm
And
right.
Ian, the stitch method is all that matters in the end of it.
I'm going to end every lesson with that.
The stitch method is all that matters.
All that matters. Have a good day. We're out of here.